Native American relationship. In instructions issued to Sir Thomas Gates on November 20th, called for a forcible conversion of Native Americans to Christianity. All right. I'm going to make a about to make that point. Here we go. Just want to draw that point home. The Virginia Company believed that they could convert all the Powhatans to Christianity. It will help the survival and the economic prosperity of Jamestown. All right. So their mission was to convert the wild Indians into Christians. Now, these people that we think is Indians today, are they Christians? Or do they still worship Father Sky, Mother Earth, Grandfather Sun, Grandmother Moon? Are they still really deep into their spirituality? Right? So who are the Indians that they converted to Christians? It's us. Clear as day. It is us. Right? Let me make another point. America is huge. America is really, really big, yeah. All right. Now look, check this out. How many slaves were brought to the U.S., right? Not the Americas. We just talk about North America. Approximately 388,000 enslaved Africans were directly transported to North America, all right, via the transatlantic slave trade. I'm not saying it just never happened, but I'm just saying out of the 12.5 million that got shipped off, only 388,000 came here to North America because it's too big. Most of this stuff was going on in the Caribbean. Let me show you. Look, if you say it right here, including the Caribbeans and South America, that's where most of it went down at. All right, the Caribbeans and South America.
What he told me was interesting. He said that
slavery in the Caribbean was, well, the majority of the slavery happened in the Caribbean and Latin America, which is one of the interesting things. Because of Hollywood and because of the African-American community's massive cultural impact on the world, most people have come to understand racialized slavery through the lens of America. But I mean, more enslaved Africans were taken to the tiny Caribbean island of Martinique than they were brought to the United States. You know, almost 90% of the slavery happened in the Caribbean and Brazil.
Which actually surprised me, because I just figured America was so big and so forth. But, you know, back in the day, there was only 13 colonies. There was only a small portion. So most of the Africans ended up in the Caribbean.
And Brazil, too.
And Brazil, exactly. Yeah. And what he told me was interesting. He said that
slavery in the Caribbean was, well, the majority of the slavery happened in the Caribbean and Latin America, which is one of the interesting things. Because of Hollywood and because of the African-American community's massive cultural impact on the world, most people have come to understand racialized slavery through the lens of America. But
right, because we super influential. So if we tell a story, everybody listens.
Thousands of years. San Francisco was there for thousands of years. Los Angeles was there for thousands of years. They were built by the indigenous people who were black and Indians as well. The black people, they are the original owners of America.
Hopefully y'all can hear this. He's saying that black people are the original owners of America. This is Santos Bonici. All right. But yeah, it would be just logistically, it would be very difficult to practice slavery in America because America is just way too big. It's just too easy for people to run away. So wouldn't nobody buy? You definitely not buying no Indian as no slave. It just come on, man. The Seminoles and stuff, it's just too wild, bro. You'll wake up with your house burnt down, or something even worse, right? So, like we said, approximately 388,000 enslaved Africans. And look how they use the word Africans. They don't say black Africans. They don't say white Africans. They just say Africans. Now let me show y'all something about that word too. This word Africans. Don't look up the word. Don't look up the etymology of Africa. Look up the etymology of the word African, and you'll see that the word African was used of white residents of Africa from 1815. Also, used of black residents of the U.S. from 18th century. But hold on, wait a minute. When it especially meant one brought from Africa, and sometimes was contrasted to native-born Negro, native-born Negro, as an adjective, right? Just like black is an adjective. It's not a people, it's an adjective. It's like they say in Africa right here. African was an adjective by 1560s, pertaining to Africa or Africans. All right. And then from 1722, as of pertaining to Black Americans, they kept on mixing it up. But like I just showed you, this Jesse Jackson came up with that term African American, and that was the 1980s, 1970s, my bad. 1970s. All right, so yeah, most of this what they talk about happened in the Caribbean, man. It didn't happen here. All right, let's keep it pushing. What else we got? Show the controlled opposition. MLK. Right here go Jesse Jackson. Underneath his Greek fraternity. Right now, a lot of us trauma bonded with this movie. This movie came out in 1977. This is Roots. So when you hear a lot of people talking, when you hear people talk about slavery, they're usually referring to this movie, right? Because, and Alex Haley, as everybody know, plagiarized this story from another person, right? This is not the life story. This is not a true story. This is a good show. It's one of the best shows ever of all time. But back in the 70s, people took it literally, man, and it just kept on going and going and going on, and nobody really stopped to say and really dive into this and check this out, you know. And I'm worried about Umar, man, because now I'm looking at it like, damn, Umar done been on the Breakfast Club a few times. We know the Breakfast Club is down with the Illuminati. I'm getting to thinking, like, is Umar down with the Illuminati? Is this about to be a play? Are they about to run a play? Is Umar controlled opposition? This is the questions that have been running through my mind, because I'm like, damn, he's been on the Breakfast Club a lot of times. This is the mainstream, and they don't never ask him about the school, really. They don't never grill Umar or, you know, give Umar no pushback like that. Did he be on Nick Cannon show? Nick Cannon is mainstream, wilding out. I'm like, man, what's going on? Go Nick Cannon logo for his show, and you see the fascist fist right there. All right. What's funny is, before the year starts, I always check out this magazine, right? The Economist magazine. On the cover of the Economist magazine, they usually predict what's going to happen for the rest of the year. All right, you see Trump right there in the middle. Let's see if we get a better picture. And you see down here is the fascist fist, the same fist that Nick Cannon had for his show. That same fist, that fascist fist. I'm trying to get in there a little closer, but I can't. But you see it down here. Now, this is 2025. This is the Economist magazine. All right. Now, I've been talking about slavery and all this stuff because I'm trying to get y'all minds ready for the bombshell I'm about to drop on you. All right. Now, some people might remember I said this. The evolution chart, Charles Darwin and his theory of evolution. I've been saying that this is going in reverse, actually. You're becoming less human and becoming like the monkey. All right. Now, this show it the right way. You're going from human to monkey because of the use of technology in a smartphone. The smartphone is making you as dumb as down. All right. Now, I'm saying the same thing is going on with this story of slavery. So I keep saying the same thing. You more of a slave now than your greatest grandfather ever was. Some scholars and commentators have expressed concerns about potential threats to civil liberties and the rule of law in various societies, including democracy. One specific concern stems from the expansion of government surveillance capabilities. Now, look, back in the 1800s, there was no cameras watching everything you do. Back in the 1700s. Now these people are watching everything you do. Technologies such as data mining, wiretapping, and online monitoring. But see, the origins of modern day policing. The slave patrols today. All right. Police in America. Now, we are heading towards a police state. Let me just play this because they didn't. Google do me crazy, bro. I was like, I had this up here ready to go, and now it says something totally different. Here we go. What about this? Yes, it is true that surveillance cameras are increasingly prevalent in both public and private spaces. This includes everything from city streets and stores to homes, and even include workplaces. While cameras are often placed for security and safety purposes, their raises concerns about privacy and potential for misuse. All right, cameras are everywhere because that's what I'm saying. Everything they telling you is in reverse. All right, this dude right here is Aleister Crowley. He's an occultist, and he studied the law of reversal. You just tell everybody everything in reverse, bro. Right? So now you're not coming from slavery. You're heading towards slavery, right? A slave state. Let's go. Hopefully, they don't hit us with a commercial. We don't need that right now.
Listen, if you've been wanting to get your hands on ivermectin, menbenzidol, or hydroxychloroquine, now's your chance. To celebrate Independence Day, all families...
I promise I just got rid of the commercial. But this is about to be good, though. Here we go. Let's go. Let's go.
Trying to prevent is to keep that from happening. This is my belief and what I've been trying to tell people in Washington, which is if you thought social media censorship was bad, this has the potential to be 1,000 times worse. And the reason is social media is important, but at the end of the day, it's quote, just people talking to each other. AI is going to be the control layer on everything. Right. So AI is going to be the control layer on how your kids learn at school. Right? It's going to be the control layer on who gets loans. It's going to be the
AI, who's the real Indians? And once AI give that answer, that's it. There ain't no more debate. It might not work for this generation, but the generation coming up behind y'all, AI is gonna be God. Whatever AI say is gonna go.
control layer on does your house open when you come to the front door?
Wow.
It's going to be the control layer on everything, right? And so if that gets wired into the political system the way that the banks did and the way that social media did, like we are in for a very bad future. And that's a big thing that we've been trying to prevent, is to keep that from happening.
Welcome back, friends. Welcome back to the Corbett Report. I'm James Corbett of CorbettReport.com, coming to you, as always, from the sunny climes of Western Japan, here in March of 2025, with episode 473 of the Corbett Report podcast, Algocracy, Government for the New World Order. And those chilling opening words portraying what a government by algorithm might look like come to us via Mark Andreessen on the Joe Rogan Experience podcast, where Mark is warning us about the possibilities of not just social media censorship and control, but AI censorship and control, and how much worse that will be when AI is a layer on everything we do and everything we use. Now, all right, let's start today's exploration, which will no doubt get into why.
See, we got to do the history. We got to do the history. So you know what's going on. AI is coming. And everything going to be controlled by. The Terminator tried to tell us about this. The Matrix tried to tell us about this. In my Father's house there are many mansions. No, there are many machines. And people don't even realize this technology is getting closer and closer to our bodies until Elon gets to do what he want to do and put the chip in your head. And the chip is going to start off as a good thing. The chip is going to start off as a good thing. Just let y'all know. All right. Here go the fascist fist. Here go the fascist fist right there. 2025. They said it's coming. And then boom, Trump gets shot. What does he do? He throws up the fascist fist. Trump. What is it about Trump? Trump got a lot of enemies, just like Julius Caesar had a lot of enemies. This last Super Bowl, Trump went to the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl was in Julius Caesar's dome, Julius Caesar Stadium, Caesar's Palace Stadium. Caesar had a lot of enemies. Caesar got stabbed 23 times by 23 different blades, 23 different men. That's a lot of enemies. Trump got more enemies than that. This is everything is a mind game at the end of the day. If you're strong mentally, you're gonna be all right. You will be all right. The prism, the matrix. The prism is a prism because you are pure light. But you come to the prism, right? Prism traps light. Or prison, you get hit with a charge, right? And then they put you in a cell and soak up your energy. You are the battery, right? Now it's time to escape the matrix, exit the matrix. I found this funny that we was talking about raise L, right? Raise elbows, the touchdown, shoot, right? Jesus cross, the sign of the cross. Exit the matrix, stories of success. And then look at Truman making the same gesture. That's because I said raise L. When you take Israel, you switch the words around, you get raise L. Raise the consciousness. Truman had to become aware that the whole town was playing him. Once Truman became aware, he started trying to figure out a way out. Now, the solar system is the color system. Right? See how this comes from pure light, instrument prism, and it comes out using all the colors of the rainbow, the color system, the solar system, right? Just like the word ceiling start with a C, but it sounds like it start with an S. It's the same thing with solar and color. The solar system is the color system, right? Every planet got a color to it. To raise L, I didn't get to say this last time, and I had it up here, and I'm watching the video back, and I'm yelling at the TV like, "Yo, it's right there." To raise L is to go from the root chakra on up, out the crown. Elevation, raise elevation. You're seeing on a high level. If you in your root chakra, all you seeing is through this red chakra. That's how you see the world. It's through this red chakra. Once you raise the vibration, raise the energy, raise the electricity, the electromagnetic energy up. That's how you raise L to beat the matrix. But you got to be strong mentally because this is the mirror world, so everything is done in reversed, right? If you want to jump up really, really high, you're gonna have to bend down really, really low. The total opposite, the reverse. All right. That's why you ground yourself. This is the rocket ship. This is the rocket ship. Like I said, the Confederacy. Let's see these old mechs. They'll just show you the Olmec's head. They'll show you all these Olmec's heads, right? They rarely show you this Olmec. They rarely show you this Olmec. All right, I'm trying to get a good picture of them. They rarely show you this Olmec who's meditating. All right, Olmec yogis with Hindu beliefs. And then look at his belt. Remember I showed you the Confederate flag? And I showed you the Iroquois Confederacy. I said, that's us. Look at his belt. That's an X-Man right there. Oh my God. Hit the like button. That's an X-Man right there. Wolverine. The mutants. Even on his chest, there go the X. That's our flag. The Confederacy. This man is part of a Confederacy. He leaves Earth. This is an astronaut right here. And that's the same thing I just showed you. This is an ancient practice. An ancient practice. I ain't worried about nothing.
And he says, we never free a mind once it reaches a certain age. It's dangerous and the mind has trouble letting go, which you can see in the world with people who have developed real attachments to the system. It's very difficult for them to let go of it. He says, I did what I did because I had to. When the Matrix was first built, there was a man born inside, which we call the One. Morpheus calls him the One, who had the ability to change whatever he wanted, to make the Matrix as he saw, remake the Matrix as he saw fit. It was he who freed the first of us and taught us the truth. As long as the Matrix exists, human beings will never be free. And what was the Matrix? Control. So substitute the word, the allegory, put it in there. As long as the Matrix exists, human beings will never be free. What is the Matrix? Control. As long, and he says, we never free a mind once it reaches a certain age.
And I do that to this day. You don't free a mind once it reaches a certain age. You just let them rock on out. All them baby boomers. You ever heard of the baby boomers? I gotta ask you, why was it a boom of babies? They say because the war was over. The war was over, and World War II ended, and so everybody just got to having sex, and there was a boom of babies. What kind of music was they listening to back then? It wasn't bang bang shoot 'em up, busted on her neck, busted on her chest, busted in her mouth. It was love making music. The energy, the frequency was different. And plus, they needed workers. They needed workers. So, yeah, there was a baby boom because they needed employees. They needed workers. Now, like I said, we're heading towards slavery. A lot of people don't know who Klaus Schwab is. Klaus Schwab said there's been 4 industrial revolutions. 3. Yeah, we're heading to the 4th. And the 4th is going to be controlled by the new God, which is AI. Cyber physical systems. All right. We went from this 1800s, early 1900s. They started building cars and making, plants with production line. Then we got the computer and automation. That's where we're at now. And pretty soon, everything's going to be ran by Wi-Fi. And we're heading towards communism. They need less workers. God, AI. What's funny is I can't even turn my. This is what, you know. This person is looking at me. I'm pretty sure this person is looking at me right now and decided to call.
If they're not mixed, they can't be free white people. You understand? They gotta have Asiatic blood. Now, free white persons includes Magyars, Lapps and Finns, and the Basque and Albanians. Includes Lapps, Finns, the Basque and Albanians. Free white persons includes the mixed Latin, Celtic, Iberian, and Moorish inhabitants of Spain and Portugal. The mixed Greek, Latin, Phoenician, and North African inhabitants of Sicily, and the mixed Slav and Tartar inhabitants of South Russia. Read this together, you all. Free white persons, it does not mean Caucasian race. Repeat it, y'all. It does not mean Caucasian race, Aryan race, or Indo-European races, nor the mixed Indo-European, Dravidian, Semitic, or Mongolian peoples who inhabit Persia. A Syrian of Asiatic birth and descent will not be entitled to become a naturalized citizen of the United States as being a free white person if they're not mixed.
Yeah, it's a status symbol. And what the crazy thing is, white people know they ain't white. They know they're European. Like I said, they'll play the black and white game with you. And the Nigerians that come over here, they'll play the black and white game with you, but they know they ain't black. We the only ones running around talking about we black. Like I said.